Power up. Get over here!
Hello, everybody out there on YouTube. Once again, it is the three middle-aged guys just bullshitting about nothing. I am the Reverend.
The theme here.
Gray Mouse 1.
Yep. And we're going to continue on. Like I said, this last week has been really, really busy when in concerns of video game news and everything else. Actually, this particular set of news we're going to go over is maybe a little bit older than this last week. We had found out, actually was announced earlier this week, that this particular device right here ended up getting fully cracked and hacked open. All right. Henkaku, which is a custom firmware, was released out, and it's a soft mod for the PlayStation Vita that also works on the PlayStation TV. Has been released that allows people to go ahead and play ROMs and homebrews and other magical things on their PlayStation Vita.
Magical things.
Yeah, it's just really magical things that is really set not only to allow people to do, I don't know, the type of things with guys with peg legs and parrots, but also some really cool stuff like run emulators and everything else. Let's just be honest, okay? Without knowing how to go ahead and crack open this, all right, the original PSP, I would not own one, okay?
Same here.
The truth of the matter is that, you know, the PSP as it is, it's a really, you know, it's a really capable piece of hardware. But when you have to start dealing with UMDs all the time and everything else, it's not very fun. Crack it open, load up some emulators on this thing, and a huge freaking memory card, and this thing is fucking magical.
It's
all
gold.
right? Yes.
I mean, come on. Wait. I think all of us have at least two of them.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean,
I have to.
Yep.
I have to.
It's a magical thing, and you know, Sony being what Sony is as far as their security and firmware and everything goes, everybody knew that it was going to be at least sometime before they got to the Vita.
Matter of time.
Yeah, it was going to be a matter of time, and last week it was announced out. People had figured out how to do it, and they made it really, really easy to get a hold of. For those who are interested, myself, when I post this video up, I will leave links in the description showing you where you can find out about this, okay, and where you'll be able to get a hold of it. I'm not going to directly link you to that, but believe me, the research is worthwhile. Gentlemen, before I ramble on even more, what are your thoughts on this?
Now I'm most likely going to sign myself up for a Vita because of this. It's just as simple as that. Okay, the one thing they have to work on now is that damn memory card.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Please somebody, please manufacture that shit if you can. But that's one of the only fatal flaws about the damn Vita. That damn memory card.
Yeah. Having to sit there and pay. What is it? $69.99 is the fucking manufacturer's suggested retail price for a 32 gig fucking memory card. Just ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous.
One thing that you need to mention as well is that it's Sony exclusive memory card. You can't just use an SD card. It's got to say Sony PlayStation on it.
No.
Or Sony, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When the patent protection ends on that, and you know people are able to make adapters for that and everything else, because you can buy a 128 gig fucking micro SD.
Yeah.
You know, when that, dude, I will be all over it.
So will I.
Team, you go ahead, continue on. You had more thoughts?
No, that's pretty much it. Because it's just, look, the PSP, I'm like, I want one, however.
Yeah.
And those were the main problems with it. It wasn't even just the price of the damn portable. I was like, I can deal with that. But that memory card, I was like, I can't deal with that shit. That was one. Number two, okay, I understand that they want to make it a portable PS3 or a portable PS4 maybe. But it was a lot of the duplicate games that, you know, yes, certain games had certain features or whatever than the console, just like the PSP tried to do. But for me, it just wasn't worth it at the time. And I was like, I'll wait. I'll wait. Because it's not like people are just everywhere with PS Vitas and online and doing things with them. And I don't think it's popular to that extent. But it is valuable. And with this, cracking it open, and as long if they can work on that card shit, yeah, I'll go ahead and get one.
What about you, Gray Mouse?
Well, with me, I think obviously because the PSV, I think is far superior than the PlayStation portables in design and just what is how it feels. You know, I mean the buttons and the analog. So everybody was waiting for the simulations to happen on here. So that's great news, absolutely great news. But the PSP, I actually bought the game because or the system because they had good games on it. You know, the older versions, they're very, very good games, especially if you're into RPGs, JRPGs. There was a ton of those on the PlayStation Portable. And then, again, I guess because I was unique, I was in Japan, and there are a lot of JRPGs that are not coming to the West Coast for the Vita. And one thing about the Vita too is it's region free, so you can play those games on there. But a lot of people in the Western game now, if you're a hardcore gamer, you already know how to get a hold of play. But for the Joe Smo type player, you know, the casual players or whatnot, you don't know how many games that are on this. All you see is the little small selection here in the States. But there's a lot more games on the library. And now that it's able to get cracked, that in itself, that is just fucking outstanding news to me. I'm very glad about it. And I just look forward to being able to get a hold of be able to do things with the Vita.
Yep. I mean, my excitement for Hankaku, which is the custom firmware package that's out there for cracking open the Vita, really isn't for my Vita per se. Okay, this I'm probably going to go ahead and actually leave alone. But I do have a PlayStation TV, all right, that plays Vita games. And the annoying thing about the PlayStation TV is that not all Vita games are compatible with the PlayStation TV. And it's not because of a hardware thing. It's because of this stupid fucking whitelist, blacklist market structure that Sony went ahead and put together. That's completely fucking arbitrary. You know why? Because just like the PlayStation Vita, PlayStation TV is region free. Guess what? There are some games in Asia that are whitelisted that aren't whitelisted in fucking Europe, and they're not whitelisted in fucking North America. Same thing with Europe, same thing in North America. Why? I don't fucking know. Okay, it's just retarded. All right, and it's not like any of the games are. You know, I can understand some of the games that aren't going to be available for the TV because maybe it uses the touchpads, maybe it uses accelerometers for fucking tilt controls and shit like that. And that's not quite there or implemented yet as far as compatibility with controllers and shit like that. But not being able to access games otherwise, it's just fucking retarded, and it blows my fucking mind. Especially if you're gonna make the system region free. It's like why really?
I don't. Maybe that's the reason why they did region free, is because they could whitelist and blacklist certain games in certain regions.
But it's silly. It's
still retarded.
It is.
Yeah. And like I said, like some games, there are some games that if you have a Japanese PlayStation TV, that it will fucking play. It's completely compatible. But you take that same game to North American PlayStation TV, and it doesn't fucking work. It says this game is not compatible with this system.
Yep.
It fucking blows my mind. Okay, You know why? One of the things that the reason why I'm excited about that is that, look, I can find a PlayStation TV for $30 brand new online. Okay, and that's HDMI out. I could vid cap off of that motherfucker instead of you know what a fucking vid cap kit for this costs? $270 fucking installed.
What?
Yes, I've looked into it. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm
Did
doing
tap off of the Vita?
yeah, because they have to tear it apart and they have to put a custom fucking video capture card with brand new fucking ports and everything and fit it in there so they don't fuck anything up. All right. It's a small shop in fucking Japan that does it. Okay.
Fuck. A whole
It's-
bunch of that.
It's $270, but I can understand why, because it's a shitload of work, microscopic fucking work too.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes the price of the actual fucking, vid card itself.
How long did it take them to master that shit?
Not long. We're talking about Japanese.
Well, actually, they're the only guys who do it regularly for fucking portable systems.
But that's what I mean. They're the only ones that do it. That means that no one else can master that. That's like cutting up fucking blowfish. You know? Shit.
Man, you haven't heard about the Asian skill, man? Skill level Asian?
Come on now. We lived in Japan. You
I mean,
still do, technically. But, yeah. Come on.
They're so skillful. They even ate. It's like.
Look. I'm not eating fugu here. All right. Okay.
Well, I definitely wouldn't eat fugu in the United States.
Look, I'm just saying. But when it comes to the PlayStation TV, all right, I would like to be able to bypass that. And the cool thing is that it's a fucking soft mod.
Yep.
Okay. You're not going to brick your system. You're not going to, you just got to be careful about not updating firmware. Okay. I mean, I think it's cool. The folks over there at Sony, they are probably pissing their pants and they're updating firmware as they fucking speak. I understand that. And it's going to be a game of tag after that. But you know what?
You know what? I think it was open door for them for this to inevitably happen when Sony itself came out and said that this is a legacy system.
Yeah. Look, you know what? It didn't take long for this, but when it happened for this, like I said, this thing is fucking magical. All right. Okay. This is not just PSP. This is PSP plus 3, motherfuckers. Okay. That's what I gotta say. All right. Guess what? I want a +1. I want a +2. I want a +3. My fucking Vita and my fucking PS TV. That's just how it goes. Right. Any other thoughts on cracking open the Vita?
Nope.
Okay.
Nothing but positive, man.
Yep.
Good,
Really.
good stuff.
Speaking of positive stuff, all right, all of us here, all of us 3 middle-aged guys are into retro gaming, and it's because of the shit that we grew up with, all right? And the truth of the matter is there's one particular system that's out there that's been notorious for being hard to emulate, and goddamn, the games, if you look for the games that are worth it, they're just skyrocketing in price, okay? Sega Saturn. Thankfully, somebody has finally gotten around and cracked open the Sega Saturn. Okay?
Wow.
An electrical engineer by the name of Dr. Abrasive. Okay, if you look up Dr. Abrasive or Sega Saturn CD crack on YouTube, you will see the full 30-minute video where he explains the process. This guy, he as a side project, he just wanted to go ahead and mess around with the sound chip on the Saturn to make chiptune songs. Okay. And that was what he does on his spare time. I don't know what's up with these sound engineers. They're like doing magical shit with video games. First AM2R and now this guy, But he went ahead, and what happened was that he figured out, the Saturn encryption or the copy protection is very, very effective. It's so effective that nobody's been able to emulate it, all right? Reason being is that part of it is because the way that the actual Saturn discs are burnt, is physically different from other discs, all right, other CDs. So instead of going through the CD-ROM, he decided to go ahead and explore other venues. What other input-output ways are there on this fucking thing to actually get to the Saturn operating system? And that's when he started messing around with the vid card port on the back of the Saturn, that empty port that 90% of the Saturn owners never used outside of Japan. All right, unless you were in Japan and you really wanted to watch VCDs, in which majority of them were pretty much there for either karaoke or porn. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, so he went through. He was able to access the actual Saturn core and processor and bypass the CD-ROM through the vid card port. And what he's been able to do is that he's been able to make a prototype where, at first, he thought, hey, just like with the Vita and the PSP, like we mentioned before, stick an SD card in there, load everything off SD card. And then he was like, you know what? In the long run, it'll be better if I go ahead and stick a USB port, and then somebody could go ahead and stick a USB stick or a USB external drive as big as you fucking want. And not only will you be able to run games directly off of that, you can run games off of that even if your fucking CD drive dies on your Saturn, because let's be honest, those things are 20 years old now, and a lot of them are dying left and right. Even for the folks who have Saturns that are still working, you're like on borrowed time when it comes to the CD-ROM drive. And yeah, he was able to crack it open. And the best thing about it is that he says that it's reasonable for him to be able to put together a kit that can be mass-produced and marketed out for normal schmoes like us who don't have PhDs to fucking use on their consoles. Guys, thoughts on this?
Does this work with the 4 megabyte card?
Yes. It works with everything.
Okay. So all you're going to have to do is just get this device, USB, and there it is.
Yep.
Now look, this is something that a lot of people have been waiting for decades. The Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn is one of those systems that was totally underrated, especially for the quality of games that it had on it. A lot of people overlooked it because of the success of the PlayStation and certain games in the PlayStation. I, for one, when I was younger, 20 years ago, and I had the PlayStation, and the Sega Saturn was always here until it started doing things with certain games.
Until you discovered import fighting games.
Oh, wait. It wasn't import for me because I was out there.
Well, true.
Gray Mouse was one of the witnesses to that shit. I was just like, and
we both were.
Oh my God. Playing these games. I remember when I introduced Nights into Dreams to you, Gray Mouse. Gray Mouse never heard of Nights until he saw me play it. I didn't even explain the title of the game. He was like, what is this? I just handed him the box. And that was it. It's like people were playing Final Fantasy VII everywhere. I had Nights into Dreams. I had like 8 to 10 people behind me like, what is this and how do we get it?
I witnessed it. I mean, it's like a Sonic in the air, so to speak, more or less.
Yeah.
But the Sega Saturn, man, it did almost perfect port of arcade fighting games. I mean, it's a great system. It really is, and I'm nothing but happy about it. I mean, but the thing is,
this is the thing about it. The Saturn had 3 processors in it. That's why you motherfuckers couldn't even emulate it.
Yep.
I mean, there are certain emulators for it, but they don't run smoothly.
Yep. I mean, and the thing about this particular project, Dr. Abrasive, one of the things that helped him out, he started working on this on his spare time back in 2013. 2013 or 2014. So it's been about 4 years for him working on this together. And one of the things that he went through is that in trying to figure things out, he had to reach out to guys who did emulators and homebrew software for the Saturn and try to figure out, okay, so what do you have here that can help me crack this information? And because of that, he ended up working really closely to, I believe, the authors of Yabuze, which is one of the Saturn emulators, one of the few that actually can run commercial games, to go ahead and get information on processor cores, the type of data that's being passed back and forth. And he was able to go ahead and say, hey, look, once he cracked it open, he was able to get all the information about, like, oh, these are the processor timing. This is how everything is timed together and everything else. One of the first things he did, he was like, hey, guys, I've got a lot of data to go ahead and give to you. And he passed it right back to them. And they were like, oh, my fucking God. Because up until that point, everybody was just kind of guessing on how things worked. And they had to work off of, if they were really lucky, either a developer disk or a cracked disk on a fucking modded Saturn. In which case, they were basically at a point where they still hadn't figured out the copyright protection anyways. You know, and that was the one thing that was eluding everybody.
So with the ROMs, the Saturn ROMs, are they going to be able to pull basically what I'm asking is the quality. Are they going to be like? Is it going to be like just having that disc in the machine?
Well, I'm not. Yes. Okay. The thing about it is that the cool thing about the ROMs for the Saturn or the Sega games is that they aren't read protected. If you dump it into a CD-ROM drive on your PC, you can see all of the files on it. Okay, like I said, the reason why the copyright protection was so fucking solid was that there's a physical difference in the burn on the disk that can't be emulated. You can't fucking emulate that. You can't do that on a regular CD burner. So what's going to happen is that you can take any game that you have, put it in your CD-ROM drive on your PC, turn it into an ISO file, an image file, dump that onto the hard drive, and it will run like the actual CD-ROM drive in the game is actually
in your game system.
Yes, because the way that it works is that when you're running it worked the same way with the actual video card. Was that if you're running the vid card and you had a video CD in there, it bypassed a lot of the processing from the CD-ROM drive through that vid card and then back right into the system. So yeah, it runs like you've got the game in your system. In fact, one of the kits that he was looking at as a future project is that he knows that if they have the consoles, that their drivers are going to go out. He said that one of the things that he's going to be researching with a few other people is how to do a conversion kit where you actually take out the CD-ROM drive, replace it with a hard drive, and connect it through the video card port. So you won't ever have to worry about, actually running the actual discs themselves. Fucking cool, if you ask me. Really, really fucking cool.
Well, one good thing about this is being able to emulate the Sega Saturn games more efficiently. That should bring the physical copies down. It's just a supply and demand thing.
Yep.
But there's still the rare copies that are still.
Well, yeah, it depends on the physical copy.
Yeah, it's still going to cost a certain amount of money, But that is, to me, it's all around a good thing, man. All of them are.
Yep. I mean,
for those that never played certain games for the Saturn or never experienced it, as Gray Mouse pointed out earlier, there are a lot of fighting games that were pretty much arcade perfect on it. I remember when people were trying to say that X-Men versus Street Fighter for the PlayStation was better than the Saturn version.
Oh, jeez.
I remember when people said that. I remember Captron World of Nintendo. And they tried to say that the PlayStation version of Darkstalkers was better than Night Warriors for the Saturn. I was so upset. I didn't even own a Saturn. I owned a PlayStation. But I was so upset that I walked out of that store and I never went back there. Because if you're going to insult a gamer's intelligence like that, just because you're a fucking fanboy and you're behind the counter at that, fuck you. That was so much garbage to me that it pissed me off. Yeah, I was like, I hope this place gets burnt to the ground, and thank goodness it doesn't fucking exist anymore. Fuck Captron.
I mean, especially the SNK. I mean, on the PlayStation, it freezes up, and then you got
besides Neo Geo, you wasn't going to get closer to the Saturn.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I mean, there's a wealth of games that are out there, and you know the truth of the matter is now there's going to be incentive for people to actually go ahead and archive all of the games, even the ones that were lost in the, you know, what is it? The I don't know if this is an urban myth or whatnot, but the whole thing with the reason why Panzer Dragoon Saga was never remastered, or they've never offered an HD remake of it, is the fact that they no longer have the source code. That the server that had the actual binary code for it was lost in a building fire or something like that. Yeah, and there's a reason why like certain Saturn games have never gotten any sort of HD remake or anything like that. It's not because Sega doesn't want to do it, it's that they don't have the source code anymore. That's actually fucking true, and they're able to go ahead and pull this shit down. You know, if they have the right guys, those guys have access to that now again. You know, and it all came from an electrical engineer with a PhD who was working on Sega Saturn that he just happened to pick up on vacation, okay, because he wanted to go ahead and use it for making chiptunes. Fucking incredible, if you ask me.
Now the only question there is how much is it going to cost to get a kit?
Look, if that kit will be reasonable, even if it costs as much as $200 fucking dollars. I'm saying that right now.
Good point. Yeah.
Okay.
Because of what it can do and what it can offer.
Oh yeah. I mean Dr. Abrasive, if you're listening to me right now, I'd rather you would mark it at $50 instead of $200, to be completely honest. But even if it was at $200, I think it'd be reasonable.
Look, if you mark it at $50, I'm buying 2 of them for both of my Saturns.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. I got 2 Saturns here.
I got a Saturn that doesn't save anymore. All the saves can go straight to the USB drive.
That's impressive.
You know, I mean, you could handle everything through the operating system. At least everything that he's indicating that you can go ahead. Everything, all the Saturn operations can be handled through the thing. It's really impressive.
Another crazy part about that is this won't take that much memory.
Nope.
It won't take that much for an SD card in order to hold a whole bunch of stuff on it.
Nope. Because they're still on CDs. Exactly. And he's going to make it so that you can actually hook up an external hard drive to it, you know, a USB drive. So
then we're done here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so bring that shit out, sign me up, have it. I mean, shit, as the Reverend said, a reasonable price, motherfuckers will pick this up. It's just, you know.
Let's just be honest, you know, fucking, they don't make the mod chips for the Saturn anymore. Right? And if you do find them, good luck. All right.
Well, and putting them in yourself?
Putting them in yourself, and also good luck, you know, not having to pay at least $300 fucking bucks for it.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah, this fixes all of that shit.
Yep.
But again, come out with this shit, sign me up. Maybe we'll do a review on it and tell everybody how it is if we get one.
Hey, if they go ahead and they bring it out and I get a hold of it, yeah, I'll be lauding it about it online.
Yeah.
You know, no fucking questions about it.
Just need to know when and how much. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Any final thoughts on any of the subjects that we've covered so far, gentlemen?
Nope.
All righty. With that, a lot of geek news on the technical side, but fuck, I can't help but be excited for this stuff. Like I said, Vita cracked.
Wait. Stop right there.
Sure.
Are only Saturn games going to be able to be working on this, or can other things be worked on this?
Well, here's the thing. Since Saturn emulation has been so hard to do, nobody's been able to make regularly good homebrews and emulators for the Saturn.
Right.
Now that this is actually
that's what I'm saying. They will come up with that shit.
Yes, other people can actually come up with that shit. So, just saying,
yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not gonna expect anything past 16-bit to go ahead and show up on it.
No,
but you know, I mean, that's a lot of that's a for your buck.
Oh, isn't the Sega Saturn 32, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but when you're sitting there, you're thinking about emulation. You have to think you're pretty much running two systems on top of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, at the same time, the actual operating system on the hardware, and then whatever you're trying to emulate.
Well, so maybe
overhead.
Maybe PlayStation games could play on it.
I don't think so.
You don't think it emulated on it?
Yeah, you're literally trying to double the operating system.
Right.
If you're trying to do it like that. Like I said, 16-bit.
16 and below.
Yeah, probably portables are from around the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
definitely.
Would probably be possible, you know. But PlayStation, probably not. Yeah. All right. Okay, with that, exciting stuff. Oof. This is going to be expensive when it finally comes out. I'm kidding. But still, I'm going to be willing to go for it. All right. Especially if that means I get another 20 years of fucking use out of my Saturn.
Please.
Yeah. All right. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this particular video up, folks. Like I say at the end of every video, thank you for following us all the way up to the end. You know, spending the last 30 minutes with us. We know your time is valuable and everything else. If you're so kind, hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave us a comment below. Every comment that you leave is the start of a new conversation, and that's what these videos are good for, you know? With that, we're the three middle-aged guys just bullshitting about nothing, cutting the bullshit right here. I'm the Reverend.
The theme here.
Gray Mouse 1.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense logic and gaming, cracking open systems. I might be getting a Vita. Sega Saturn. Yes. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, come on. Sega Saturn is one of my favorite systems ever. Fuck. Yeah, bring that shit out. Credits.